Today's Good People, Good Works will be presented in Amharic and English with subtitles in Amharic, Arabic, Olaxis or Vietnamese, Chinese, English, French, German, Indonesian, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Malay, Mongolian, Persian, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, and Thai.
Human rights and animal rights, they're interconnected, and if we don't fight for animal rights and human rights, then we haven't done anything. We can't ignore one and leave the other. They're both equally important.
ጤና ይስጥልን ተወዳጅ ተመልካቾች፣ በሱፕሪም ማስተር ቴሌቪዥን ስለ ዶክተር አንተነህ ሮባ እና መሰረቱን አሜሪካ ስላደረገው አትራፊ ስላልሆነው ቡድን ስለ ዓለም አቀፋዊ ፈንድ ለአፍሪካ ወይም በእንግሊዘኛ ምህጻረ ቃል ስለ IFA አስደናቂ ስራ ለምናቀርብበት የሁለተኛና የመጨረሻ ክፍል ወደ ሆነው መልካም ሰዎች መልካም ስራዎች ዝግጅታችን እንኳን በደህና መጣችሁ። ቡድኑ የሚንቀሳቀሰው በአሂምሳ ወይንም በኢጸብ አጫሪነትና ሁሉን ፍጡራን በማክበር መርህ ነው። IFA በሰዎች መካከል እንዲሁም በሰዎችና በአብረውን ነዋሪ እንስሳት መካከል ያሉትን ገንቢ ግንኙነቶች ለማበረታታት በርካታ ፕሮጀክቶች አሉት። ባለፈው ሳምንት የጨቅላ ህጻናት እንክብካቤን እና የማህበረሰብ ጤናን በኢትዮጵያ ዋና ከተማ አዲስ አበባ ስለማሻሻል ተንከባካቢ የሌላቸው ውሾችን የማኮላሸት መርሃ ግብር በተመሳሳይ ከተማ ስለማቋቋም እንዲሁም የተጣሉ አህዮችና ፈረሶች መጠጊያ በደቡብ ኢትዮጵያ ማቋቋምን ስለማገዝ የመሳሰሉ የIFA ሩሩህ ተግባራትን ለማወቅ ችለናል። በዚህ ሳምንት ደግሞ ቡድናቸው የቪጋንነት ለአካባቢ ደህንነት መፍትሄ የመሆን መልእክትን እንዲሁም ስለ አፍሪካ የአየር ንብረት ለውጥ አፋጣኝ እርምጃ አስፈላጊነትን በተመለከተ እንዴት እያስፋፋ እንዳለ ከዶክተር አንተነህ እንሰማለን።
My experience has been very powerful. I've gone to different parts of Africa and I've seen a lot of change, even in my own country. When I left Ethiopia as a young person, almost close to 30 years, Ethiopia was very lush. It was, beautiful. There was a lot of vegetation. When I went back, certain parts of the country, there's no vegetation. There's a lot of problems with water shortage. The forests are gone. In 60, 70 years ago, Ethiopia had 40% of its forests intact. Now it's less than 3%. The Sahara is expanding, yearly, and it's affecting Ethiopia and other parts of Africa. The glaciers in Mount Kenya and Kilimanjaro are drying up. Rivers and lakes are drying up. The forest in West Africa almost doesn't exist. The Congo, the forests are almost gone. Desertification is becoming an issue. And so, there is some serious damage to the environment going on in Africa. We need to focus on bringing awareness to the governments, to the communities, instead of pushing for, cattle to be a means of survival for human beings. Because at the end of the day, having a lot of cattle is causing damage to the environment, which eventually both humans and animals are going to lose out.
በኢትዮጵያ እንዲሁም የትም ቦታ በአፍሪካ ከብቶች ለመገበያየት ያገለግላሉ። እንዲሁም ለስጋቸውና ለወታቸው ሲባል ብዝበዛ ይደርስባቸዋል። IFA የህብረተሰብ ጤናን ለማሻሻል በቀላሉ ተጎጂ የሆነውን ምድረ ህይወትን እንዲሁም ውድ የእንስሳት ህይወትን ለመጠበቅ እነዚህን ዘላቂ ያልሆኑ ተግባራት ለማስቀረት በመጣር ላይ ይገኛል።
So there's a lot of importance attached to having animals in Africa, and it is an issue. But on the other hand, I think the way to handle that or to deal with it, at least in my way of looking at it, is we can help people transition from meat and dairy based foods to plant-based food and make plant-based foods abundant abundant that enough to feed the population. Actually, it's a better way. Instead of people keeping cattle for food and for bartering, they can start farms and create their own collectives where they can survive on selling crops. We can create that world if the governments, the communities, organizations, NGOs, everybody understands that a world where we don't use animals is the way to go, and a world that where we can respect the ecosystems and preserve the ecosystems and actually improve the ecosystem is how we can deal with these issues.
የዓለም አቀፋዊ ፈንድ ለአፍሪካ ድረገጽ የከብት እርባታ ጉዳዮችን በተመለከተ ጎልቶ ከሚታየው የተባበሩት መንግስታት የከብት እርባታ ረጅም ጥላ የተሰኘ ሪፖርት ላይ 30% የምድር የብስ ከእንስሳት እርሻ ጋር በተያያዙ ተግባራት እንደተወሰደ የሚገልጸውን አስደንጋጭ ቁጥርን የመሳሰሉ በርካታ ጠቃሚ መረጃዎችን ይዟል። ድረገጹ አብዛኛው የዓለም የሰብል ምርት ወደ 40% የሚጠጋውን የተመረተ ጥራጥሬን ጨምሮ ለእንስሳት ምግብነት ይውላል። ከዚያም እነዚህ እንስሳት ስጋን መግዛት ለሚችሉ በአንጻራዊነት አነስተኛ ቁጥር ባላቸው ሰዎች ለመበላት ይታረዳሉ ሲልም ይገልጻል።
And even the United Nations a couple of months ago, they came out and said that's the way to go. We have to create a vegan world in the future to stop hunger from becoming a big disaster, which it already is, but it's going to get worse if we don't do something about it. What we've seen is that there is an openness, even on the governmental levels and on NGO levels, non-governmental organizations. People are beginning to realize that global warming is for real and it's affecting human beings. And like the World Watch Institute came out saying that 51% of global warming is caused by green gas emissions caused by animals. That idea is beginning to sink in across Africa, but it's admittedly not as fast as we would like it, but there is change and we need to build on that. That's why organizations like ours have to get involved more and more in Africa to really drive in that message that we can't do business as usual with global warming breathing down our necks. They've already said a 2 Celsius increase of temperature in Africa is going to cause 600 million people severe hunger, and so you can't ignore that, and something has to be done, and we need to shift our way of thinking.
ዓለም አቀፋዊ ፈንድ ለአፍሪካ የቪጋን አመጋገብን በርካታ ጥቅሞች ለማስፋፋት በትጋት እየሰራ ይገኛል። እንዲሁም በዚህ ረገድ በአፍሪካ ውስጥ ተመሳሳይ አመለካከት ካላቸው ድርጅቶች ጋር ሽርክና ፈጥሯል።
First of all, we're working with a couple of vegetarian societies. We're working with a vegetarian society in Ghana. We're working with a vegan society in Togo. And we were instrumental in starting the first Ethiopian Vegan Association in Addis Ababa. And the surprising thing is the Ethiopian Vegan Association found out about us being involved with veganism through Supreme Master's television that is seen worldwide. And they one day saw me on Supreme Master for 5 minutes and they said, oh, this man is in America and he's Ethiopian and he's trying to promote veganism, so let's contact him. And they contacted me and we started talking and finally said we need to start a vegan society, so we did. And now it's started in Ethiopia, and actually we're planning an event in the next couple of months to introduce ourselves to the city of Addis, to politicians, parliamentarians and the public, and even have Ethiopian TV come and cover what we're going to be doing. We work with these organizations and we try to help them financially as best as we can. The other thing we're doing is we're working with local NGOs in Ethiopia that promote plant-based diets, and we support them. They go out to the communities to teach people about focusing on plant-based diet, and telling people about the negative effects of meat consumption and dairy consumption in Africa. And so we're supporting these organizations.
የአየር ንብረት ለውጥን ፈተና ለመወጣት ሁላችን ምን ማድረግ እንችላለን? ዶክተር አንተነህ ቀጥሎ ስለ ቪጋን መፍትሄና እጽዋትን መሰረት ያደረገ አመጋገብ መርህን ሰፋ ለማድረግ ስለ ግለሰብ ኃይል ያላቸውን ጥበብ ያጋራሉ።
Well, my belief system is one, change yourself. If you can change yourself, then that's a start. People who understand the impact of global warming and the devastation it causes on the environment and how it's related to animal agriculture understand that the first thing human beings can do is become vegan themselves. But apart from that, get involved, advocate for veganism, and telling people that it's not only is it good for the environment, it's good for yourself, it's good for your health. You won't have to die of diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, and all these things if you eat like this. It's change yourself, then change others by showing, by living, by practicing what you preach and going out and doing it. And that's what Supreme Master's followers are doing, and I applaud them for doing that. And that's what we need to do, and that's what our little organization is doing, is we're saying we're vegans, we want you to go out and become vegans and help others.
አሁን ደግሞ ዶክተር አንተነህ ይህን የመጨረሻ መልእክት ለዓለም አቀፍ ተመልካቾቻችን ያስተላልፋሉ።
The only thing I can say is if whoever feels passionate about the planet, about human health and animal suffering, the first and the foremost thing anybody can do is be vegan. Stop eating animals, and that will help the environment, it will help their health, and it will help the animals. And after that, they can progress into doing other things. Once you become vegan, your mind clears up, your spirits clears up, all that karmic negative energy of being involved, eating dead animals clears out of your system, and then you start focusing, just like it happened to me, towards helping others and realizing that we have a beautiful planet that we need to respect, we need to take care of, that nurtures us, and we can't ignore her.
ዶክተር አንተነህ ሮባና የዓለም አቀፋዊ ፈንድ ለአፍሪካ ፈቃደኛ ሰራተኞች የቪጋን አመጋገብን በማስፋፋት ለኢትዮጵያ አስደናቂውን የተስፋ መልእክት ማምጣታቸው እንዲሁም ለአዲስ አበባ ህብረተሰብ ጤና እንቅስቃሴያቸው ጥልቅ ምስጋናችን ለመግለጽ እንወዳለን። ከፍ ያለው ምሳሌነታችሁ በቅርቡ ሌሎችም ወደ ሩህሩህ እጽዋትን መሰረት ያደረገ አኗኗር እንዲለወጡ እና በጽሁፍ ድንቋ ፕላኔታችን ውስጥ ለሚኖሩ ስሜት ያላቸው ፍጥሯን ሁሉ ፍቅርንና ብርሃንን ለማስፋፋት ያበረታታቸው ዘንድ ምኞታችን ነው።
ስለ ዓለም አቀፋዊ ፈንድ ለአፍሪካ የበለጠ መረጃ ለማግኘት www.ifundafrica.org ይጎብኙ ወይም ከIFA ጋር በwww.facebook.com ይገናኙ።
አስደሳች ተመልካቾች፣ ለዚህ ሳምንት መልካም ሰዎች መልካም ስራዎች ዝግጅታችን አብራችሁን በመቆየታችሁ አድናቆታችንን ገልጸናል። ቀጥሎ ከድንቅ ዜና በኋላ የሚቀርበው ዓለም በዙሪያችን ነው። ሁሉም ነፍሶች ስለ ሁሉም ታላላቅ የእግዚአብሔር ፍጥሯን በአድናቆት የተሞሉ ይሆኑ ዘንድ ምኞታችን ነው። Pleasant viewers, we appreciated your company on this week's edition of Good People, Good Works. Coming up next is The World Around Us after Noteworthy News. May our lives be filled with appreciation for all of God's great creations.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/GPGW.